Welcome to the Construction Safety Awareness Training. Construction sites are dynamic environments with many moving parts, such as heavy machinery, scaffolding, and ongoing excavation work. These activities carry inherent risks, but with the right knowledge and actions, accidents can be prevented. By the end of this training, you will understand how to manage hazards, apply control measures, and respond to emergencies effectively. Safety on site is everyone's responsibility, and every precaution you take contributes to protecting lives. Let's begin by exploring how risks on a construction site can be managed effectively using the hierarchy of controls. Welcome to Module 2. The hierarchy of controls. Managing risks starts with identifying hazards and systematically applying the best possible measures to eliminate or reduce those risks. Elimination. The first step is eliminating the hazard. For instance, if there's an unsafe trench on site, eliminate the hazard by backfilling the trench once the work is complete or installing barriers to restrict access during downtime. Substitution. If elimination isn't practical, substitute the hazard with something less risky. For example, if a chemical adhesive used for tiling is harmful, replace it with a water-based, non-toxic adhesive. Engineering controls. Next, we apply engineering controls to isolate workers from hazards. For example, if a construction task involves cutting concrete, install dust extraction systems or use wet cutting techniques to reduce airborne silica dust. Administrative controls. Administrative controls change the way work is organized to reduce exposure to hazards. For example, scheduling noisy jackhammer operations during times when fewer workers are on site or implementing a rotating schedule to limit exposure to repetitive tasks like lifting heavy materials. Personal protective equipment, PPE. PPE is the last line of defense. For example, workers cutting steel beams should wear safety glasses to prevent eye injuries from flying sparks. However, PPE doesn't eliminate the hazard itself, it simply reduces your exposure to it. By applying these controls in order, we create a safer construction environment. Let's move on to hazard identification and risk assessment. Welcome to Module 3, Hazard Identification and Risk Assessment. Construction sites present a range of hazards, from physical dangers like falling tools to environmental risks such as extreme weather conditions. A hazard is anything with the potential to cause harm. For example, open holes, unsecured scaffolding, and improperly stacked materials are all common hazards on a construction site. Risk assessment involves evaluating how likely it is that the hazard will cause harm and how severe the impact could be. For example, if scaffolding is missing guardrails, the likelihood of a fall increases significantly, and the consequences could be severe. After identifying risks, prioritize them. Address high-risk items first. For instance, install guardrails on scaffolding immediately, while lower-risk issues, like minor surface cracks, can be addressed later. By identifying and managing hazards proactively, you create a safer site for everyone. Next, let's discuss safe equipment handling. Welcome to Module 4, Safe Equipment Handling. Construction equipment, such as cranes, excavators, and power tools, can pose serious risks if not used properly. Before operating any equipment, perform a pre-start inspection. For example, check an excavator's hydraulic systems for leaks, ensure the tires are in good condition, and verify that safety alarms are functioning. The manufacturer's guidelines. For instance, if operating a power drill, make sure you use the correct drill bit for the material and avoid overloading the tool to prevent malfunctions. Improper storage can also lead to accidents. For example, avoid leaving power tools on scaffolding or ladders where they can fall and injure someone below. Store heavy equipment in stable, designated areas away from pedestrian pathways. Safe equipment handling protects not only you but also your colleagues. Let's move on to emergency response procedures to prepare for unexpected events. Welcome Welcome to Module 5, Emergency Response Procedures. Construction sites can face emergencies like fires, gas leaks, or structural collapses. Being prepared can save lives. Each site should have an emergency plan tailored to its specific risks. For example, a site using LPG cylinders for heating should have a procedure for safely shutting off gas valves in case of a leak. In a fire emergency, activate the nearest alarm and follow the evacuation route. Never use lifts or elevators. Instead, proceed to the assembly area at a safe distance from the site. If a worker is injured by falling debris, provide first aid while ensuring your safety. For example, use gloves when treating open wounds to prevent infection and contact a trained first aider immediately. Preparedness and a calm response during emergencies are crucial. Let's conclude with a final review of PPE and its role in protecting you on site. Welcome to Module 6, Personal Protective Equipment, or PPE. PPE serves as your last defense against hazards when all other controls are in place. PPE includes hard hats to protect against falling objects, such as tools dropped from scaffolding. Safety glasses shield your eyes from flying debris during tasks like grinding or cutting steel. Gloves prevent injuries from sharp materials or hazardous substances, and steel-toe boots protect your feet from heavy equipment or materials. Always ensure your PPE fits correctly. For example, a loose-fitting hard hat may fall off during work, leaving you exposed to head injuries. Inspect your PPE regularly. For instance, check your gloves for tears or your safety harness for frayed straps before working at heights. Thank you for completing this training. Remember, safety starts with you. Apply these practices daily to create a safer construction environment for yourself and your team.